Hello, Gail. Good morning. So lovely
Good
to
morning.
meet again. I look forward to Wednesday morning slots with you that we have set aside consciously in our schedules for these kind of explorations of topics that are important to you and I, and as they pertain to others, we're happy to share what we talked about.
Yes, yes, always happy to share. And it's always nice to sit with you and have a conversation. And it's always interesting to where it goes.
Lovely, lovely. Uh, this allowing it to go where it wants to go, I think is the real interesting power in these kind of conversations. Before we start recording, you and I kind of chat back and forth to see where the energy wants to go, but that's just the starting point, and then to
Yes.
just kind of lean back and allow the process to unfold organically the way it wants to. I truly enjoy. So thank you again for being willing to participate and allow this to happen.
I enjoy it very much because you draw from me, you draw out, you draw things out from me that I think are just very important and peaceful and filling for me. So thank you.
You're welcome. And it goes both ways. What I've learned about energy is always giving and receiving is the same thing. It's part of the same circuit. And the interesting piece is when we don't perceive it as such, we often think we can't have the full circuit come to flow and block sometimes either the receiving or the giving out of an illusion of that there is a shortage of energy. And yet science suggests that there is no shortage of energy. It is only a transformation of energy. There's not a loss of energy ever. And I find that very comforting, actually.
Yeah. I see this image of a pendulum. So it goes that way, it must come back this way.
Oh, yeah.
That way, it must come back this way.
Yes.
In a rhythm. I love the rhythm of the body and the rhythm of the earth, and specifically for me, the rhythm of the ocean.
Yes.
It can be so peaceful and just sitting for hours for me and watch it come in and recede, come in and recede. That energy coming in, energy going out, that rhythm.
Interesting that is something that is a given, and we have learned to expect it as a given, haven't we? That we don't have to control it, we don't have to manage it, we don't have to timetable it. It happens, and to take that as a metaphor for energy in general, if we can tap into the knowing that energy happens,
yes,
it's there, it's available. The question is how we choose to tap into it, how we are willing to sit with it and let the tide roll in and let the tide roll out in the perfect timing itself knows to be, rather than trying to funnel it or direct it. That does not mean we're not invited to be co-creating with that flow of energy. I think what I'm learning to appreciate is there is the co-creation that is a struggle, and there's the co-creation that is a floating.
Yes.
One of my friends suggested that sea turtles know that to the T. They don't swim against the current. They go with every wave forward, and when the wave recedes, they just relax, and then they push forward with the next. Very much like birthing, actually. When you allow that process, I mean, it's so interesting in nature. Everything is the same. It's the same in variations, isn't it? It's the same logic. in variations that makes it so fascinating and so simple in a way when
Right.
it comes down to it. Simple yet
We
complex.
get in our own way.
Yeah.
We overthink it and we try to change it, and just if we can sit back and let it bring us
Yeah.
back and move us forward.
Tell me
It's
more
so
about,
simple.
from your experience, what happens to the body when we try to push against the current that actually wants to carry us?
I think from my experience, when you have an injury and you keep, um, I think I've used this before, when you have a low back injury and you sit down and it hurts, you can't get up to walk, but it hurts to sit down. So it's the double-edged sword. If you get up, it'll help it, but it hurts. And if you stay sitting, it hurts. It's not going to help you.
Mm.
But if you keep pushing down a symptom and denying it, it becomes bigger.
Mm.
It hurts. I suggest that emotional and physical pain are so tied in
Yes.
together. They go hand in hand. And when you suppress feelings about pain,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a familiar place that you live, that you, it becomes how you live,
Yeah.
not a way of living. So if we can look at it differently, if we can allow it to be painful,
Mm-hmm.
we can understand that it's painful, and try to change how you're seeing it and accept it a little bit, and look for different ways to manage it.
Yeah.
It becomes improved and eventually will heal.
Mm-hmm.
But by holding it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and more painful and more consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget that we'll ever feel better again.
Yes. The image that is so profound coming up for me as you're speaking is the image of a water reservoir with a dam wall, and water keeps adding from behind that wall and pushing against that wall, and there's a certain capacity limit to how much that wall can take. Um, and I would imagine that in your experience, that's very much what happens if pain is not recognized as the valuable messenger it wants to be, and is
Yes.
not acted upon in the way that it invites us to act upon. When the issue is relatively small, kind of a trickle, and it
Sure.
becomes a gush, and it becomes a reservoir of raw energy, which I find so fascinating. When you take the pain out of pain, you recognize it's a vast amount of energy that is stuck and building and building and building, inviting us to do something different with it.
The thing that I've experienced with chronic pain, it is like a drop of water in that dam, or it is like a pebble of sand in that cart. And oftentimes you're not aware of the damage that is being done. So it's the important piece is awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, you're very aware of your body and of your emotions, as most of us are, but on a deeper level, if we can catch it sooner, is what you're explaining. Oftentimes we don't catch it soon enough, and that's when it becomes more of a way of life. And we need a team to help us in this. We need medicine at times. We need to have surgery at times. We need to have chiropractic intervention at times, massage therapy at times, emotional support at times. And it's all of the pieces that each individual brings.
Yes.
The surgeon is going to cut you open and repair that. The chiropractor is going to adjust your skeleton so that it gives your muscles its ability to heal. And the massage therapist will keep your soft tissue muscles in its most pliable state so that you can heal. And it's, your body, by receiving all of this information from all of this team that is necessary, it gives your body the awareness, permission, and the understanding, and the healing starts and can happen in its process and its progress. And that's when our body really is at its finest in our repair of such things.
What you're sharing brings up two images for me. One is we're not isolated as one single human on this planet. We are part of a collective group, each of us bringing a unique talent, skill, and ability to the group. In conjunction with that picture comes the picture of a pantry. Yes, we can only cook pasta and live on that. That's one choice, and I don't want to make that right or wrong. But only tapping into one thing over and over and over again, when our body craves something totally different that's also in the pantry, we're limiting ourselves in our experience of living. And so what you said about the medical community and the wellness community as resources, it's that kind of a pantry where not every day requires necessarily the same kind of nourishment. Not every situation necessarily is satisfied and strengthened with the same kind of a menu. And to recognize, it is a smorgasbord that is available to us through different channels. And we are the ones making the decision and being able to make a decision by being tapped into our own self to know what our system needs at any kind of, at any moment and in any situation. And then it becomes an empowered choice of, oh, okay, I have a tight muscle here in my shoulder. I've worked it myself. I've done these and these remedies that I know normally help. But there's more to it. So who can I tap into? Who can shed a larger light on it so I can make a more informed and more powerful decision in order to understand the message and to process what wants to be processed?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love the comparison to food because I identify with food very much. And it is true that we do have things waiting for us if we're open to it.
Yeah.
If we seek different alternative possibilities.
Yes.
And then our pantry gets bigger.
Yes. So what I would suggest is we had talked about making smaller segments of conversation. I think this is a good place to kind of let the listener and both of us linger on that topic and close the recording here, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. I think that was a great stopping point.
Perfect. So I'll close the recording now.